Hello, and welcome to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'm so excited to have you with us today.
And I'm Bill, your co-host. Whether you're just beginning your English journey or you're already learning and looking for direction, this episode is going to be really helpful.
Yes, because today we're talking about a topic that many learners ask about. How do I learn English? From zero to professional level? It's a big goal, but it's absolutely possible, and we're here to guide you through it.
We'll break the journey into clear stages, starting from the very basics, like learning your first words and phrases, all the way to using English confidently in professional and academic situations.
And the best part? We'll show you how to stay motivated, avoid common mistakes, and use simple daily habits to make real progress.
That's right. Whether you want to speak with confidence, understand movies, pass a job interview, or even become fluent like a native speaker, we've got you covered.
So if you've ever thought, can I really do this? We're here to tell you, yes, you can. And this episode will show you how.
Let's start from the very beginning. What should you do when you know zero English? Let's dive into stage 1.
All right, Bill, let's start at the very beginning. Imagine someone knows nothing in English. They don't understand words, phrases, maybe even the alphabet. What should be their first step?
Great question, Sarah. The very first step is mindset. If you're starting from zero, you need to believe that learning English is possible. It's not about talent, it's about small, consistent actions.
Yes, that mindset is powerful. And after that, it's helpful to start with the basics like the alphabet, numbers, and very simple vocabulary. Words like hello, thank you, yes, no, sorry. These are your first building block.
Exactly. I usually recommend learning pronunciation alongside vocabulary. For example, use free apps like Duolingo or YouTube videos that teach basic words with pronunciation. Repeat after the speaker and speak out loud, even if you feel shy.
Speaking out loud is so important, even if it's just you and your phone. It helps build muscle memory for English sounds. And don't worry about mistakes. At this stage, making mistakes is a good thing. It means you're learning.
Absolutely. Another tip is to immerse yourself in English, even from day one. That doesn't mean you have to understand everything. Just listening to English every day, music, short cartoons, podcasts, will help your brain get used to the sound.
And flashcards are great too. Write down 10 simple words a day. Stick them on your wall, your mirror, or even your fridge. Seeing the words often helps you remember them naturally.
Also, don't try to memorize grammar rules at this point. Just focus on basic communication. You can say things like, I am happy, this is a cat, or my name is Sarah. Learn patterns, not rules.
Right. And one more thing. Find joy in the process. Celebrate the small wins. The first time you say a full sentence, or understand a word in a movie, that's a big deal.
Learning English from zero is like planting a seed. You won't see a tree overnight, but with water, meaning practice, it will grow. Just be patient with yourself.
Beautifully said, Bill. So, for anyone starting today, learn a few words, listen daily, speak out loud, and most of all, believe in yourself. That's the perfect beginning.
Now, once you've got a few words and simple phrases down, it's time to build a strong foundation. That's what we'll talk about next.
Let's move into stage 2, how to build your basic grammar and vocabulary for real conversations. All right, now that we've started learning basic words and speaking out loud, it's time to build the foundation. Bill, what does that foundation look like in English learning?
At this stage, the foundation means two things: learning basic grammar and essential vocabulary. You don't need to know everything. You just need the most common structures and words that people use every day.
Exactly. For grammar, start with simple sentence structures. Things like, I am happy. She is a teacher. They are at home. Learn how to use am, is, are. Those are your first grammar tools.
Yes. And then move to simple present tense. For example, I like coffee. He plays football. We study English. This helps you talk about your daily life, which is the best way to practice.
And remember, you don't need to study grammar books all day. Instead, try to learn grammar in context. Watch videos or listen to conversations and notice how sentences are formed.
That's a key point. Let the grammar come to you naturally. If you hear the sentence, she lives in London, many times your brain starts to understand how to use lives without needing a long explanation.
Now let's talk about vocabulary. What kind of words should learners focus on at this level?
Focus on everyday vocabulary things you can use immediately. Words related to family, food, weather, feelings, colors, time, and common verbs like go, do, have, make, want.
Yes, start with word families too. For example, if you learn the word eat, try to also learn eating, ate, food, hungry. This builds your vocabulary faster and makes connections stronger.
One fun method is using daily themes. For example, today you learn 10 words about the kitchen. Tomorrow, 10 words about school. It keeps things organized and interesting.
And let's not forget short phrases. Memorize useful chunks like, can I help you? What time is it? I don't understand. These are powerful tools for real conversations.
The goal is to understand and build simple, clear sentences. Don't worry about being perfect. Focus on being understood.
Well said. It's like building a house you lay one brick at a time. Grammar gives your sentences structure, and vocabulary gives them meaning.
And when those two come together, you'll be able to speak and understand more with confidence.
All right, now that we've got a strong foundation, it's time to practice speaking and listening. That's where real communication begins.
Coming up next, Stage 3. How to train your ears and your mouth to think and speak in English.
So now that our listeners have a foundation in grammar and vocabulary, it's time to work on something very important: speaking and listening.
Right, Sarah. This is where English really comes to life. You can know 100 words, but if you can't understand or use them in real conversation, it's frustrating.
Exactly. Let's start with listening. Many learners think they have to understand every single word, but that's not true. It's about training your ears to catch the rhythm, the emotion, and the key words.
Yes. I always recommend starting with slow, clear English content. There are podcasts, YouTube channels, even children's shows that are great for beginners. Just listen every day, even if you don't understand everything at first.
And repeat listening is powerful. Play the same audio 2 or 3 times. The first time you might catch just a few words, the second time, more. And by the third time, you might even understand full sentences.
That's the magic of repetition. And now, let's talk about speaking. The #1 mistake learners make is waiting until they're ready. But honestly, the best time to start speaking is now, even with one word.
Absolutely. You can practice speaking to yourself in front of a mirror. Try describing your day, naming things around your house, or talking about how you feel. It may feel silly, but it really works.
And here's a great method: shadowing. That means listening to a sentence and repeating it right away, like an echo. You can shadow short podcasts or YouTube dialogues. This improves pronunciation and fluency fast.
Yes, and you can pause, repeat, and copy the speaker's tone and rhythm. Over time, you'll sound more natural. Even 10 minutes a day of shadowing can make a big difference.
If you can, try to speak with real people too. Language exchange apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, or even joining online English clubs can help you connect with others.
And don't worry if you make mistakes. Mistakes are part of the learning process. Every error you make helps you learn something new.
Right. So, for all our listeners, listen to English every day. Speak out loud. Shadow native speakers, and most of all, don't be afraid to use your voice.
Yes, the more you use English, the more natural it becomes. And when speaking and listening start to feel easier, you're ready to move to the next level thinking in English.
That's what we'll explore in Stage 4. How to train your brain to think directly in English, just like a native speaker.
So far, we've built a solid foundation in English basic grammar, vocabulary, and even speaking and listening. Now it's time to level up. Bill, what does the intermediate stage look like?
At this level, learners already understand and speak simple English. Now it's about expanding skills, adding more words, using better grammar, and becoming more confident in real-life conversations.
That's right. One of the first steps is to start learning longer and more specific sentences. Instead of just saying, "I like movies," try saying, "I enjoy watching action movies on the weekend because they're exciting." Add detail and emotion.
Exactly. Start using linking words like because, although, however, so, and then. These help you connect your ideas and sound more natural.
Also, focus on improving your grammar step by step. At this stage, learn about past tense, future tense, and modals like can, should, must. For example, I should study English every day, or she went to the store yesterday.
And let's not forget phrasal verbs. They're very common in English. Things like wake up, look after, turn on, give up. These expressions will help learners understand native speakers better.
Yes, and it's also a great time to expand your vocabulary with topics, learn words about jobs, travel, technology, culture, relationships, anything that interests you. This makes your English more useful and fun.
And don't forget to keep practicing speaking and listening. Now you can challenge yourself with faster audio, like news, TED Talks, or short documentaries.
Right. You can also start thinking in English more often. Try to plan your day in English. When you're walking or cooking, talk to yourself in English, like, "Now I'm making tea. After this, I'll check my emails." This builds fluency.
Another tip: start reading. Try simple articles, short stories, or graded readers. Even 5 to 10 minutes of reading daily will help you learn new words and see how sentences are built.
And if you love writing, begin keeping a daily English journal. Write about your day, your thoughts, your goals, even if it's just a few lines.
Exactly. The key at the intermediate stage is to use English in real-life situations. Speak more, listen more, read more, and try to express your ideas with more confidence.
Beautifully said. And when learners become comfortable at this level, they're ready to move toward advanced learning, refining their skills and aiming for professional fluency.
Coming up next, we'll dive into Stage 5, how to move from intermediate to advanced English and start using it in work, study, and life like a pro.
Welcome back. If you've followed along so far, you've built your English step by step. Now, let's talk about the advanced level, when you're aiming to think like a native speaker.
Yes, Sarah. This is where English stops being a subject and becomes a way of life. The goal is to understand English naturally, without translating in your head.
Exactly. So, how do you get there? One powerful step is to immerse yourself fully. That means surrounding yourself with English, books, podcasts, music, videos, and even social media in English.
And when you consume content, Don't just focus on words, pay attention to intonation, expressions, humor, and cultural context. This helps you understand how native speakers actually speak.
Another big step is using English to learn other things. For example, watch a documentary in English, learn cooking through an English recipe, or follow a fitness channel that uses English. That way, English becomes a tool, not just a subject.
Yes. Also, start focusing on idiomatic expressions and advanced grammar. Like, instead of saying, "I'm very tired," say, "I'm worn out." These small changes make you sound more native.
Good point. And remember, advanced learners should also focus on accuracy. At this stage, it's important to correct small grammar mistakes and refine your pronunciation.
You might want to record yourself speaking, then listen back to check your clarity, tone, and sentence structure. It helps you notice things you don't realize while speaking.
And don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Join debates, give presentations in English, or write essays. The more complex the task, the more your brain will adapt to advanced thinking.
Another tip: try thinking in English all day long. When you're alone, narrate what you're doing in English. When you have a thought, say it in English. You're training your brain to skip the translation step.
Exactly. And if possible, connect with native speakers or fluent English users. Conversations with them will push you to be sharper, more precise, and natural.
So true. Becoming advanced isn't just about grammar and vocabulary. It's about being confident, expressive, and flexible in English.
And remember, it's a journey. Even native speakers learn new words and improve every day. So don't aim for perfect, aim for progress.
Well said, Sarah. And now that we've reached the advanced stage, there's one more step: how to maintain and use your English professionally in real life, long term.
That's right. In our next and final section, we'll talk about staying fluent for life and using English in your job, studies, or even while traveling. Welcome to the final stage of our English learning journey, moving from advanced to professional mastery. This is where your English skills become truly polished and ready for any challenge.
Right, Sarah. At this stage, you don't just understand and speak English, you use it with confidence and ease in professional settings like work, academia, or networking.
Exactly. You'll want to focus on specialized vocabulary and industry-specific language. For example, if you work in business, law, medicine, or technology, learn the jargon and expressions used in your field.
And it's also important to master formal writing and speaking. Writing professional emails, reports, or giving presentations with clarity and impact.
One great tip is to read professional materials, articles, journals, or books related to your career. This improves your knowledge and your language skills simultaneously.
Also, keep practicing your listening skills by tuning into webinars, conferences, or podcasts about your profession. This helps you stay up to date and understand complex ideas in English.
Networking is key, too. Join English-speaking professional groups, attend online meetups, or participate in workshops. The more you use English in real-world professional contexts, the stronger your mastery becomes.
And don't forget about cultural competence. Understanding workplace culture, communication styles, and etiquette in English-speaking environments will set you apart.
Absolutely. At this stage, your goal is to not just speak English, but to think, write, and interact like a true professional.
And remember, mastery is a lifelong journey. Even experts keep learning and growing.
That's a perfect note to end on. To all our listeners, keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy your English learning journey. From zero to professional, it's totally possible. Wow, Bill, what a journey. We started from zero and went all the way to professional mastery in English.
Yes, Sarah. From learning basic words and grammar to practicing speaking and listening, then thinking in English, and finally using it confidently in professional setting.
If I could leave our listeners with just a few key tips, it would be patient, practice every day, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're part of learning.
Absolutely. And remember, English isn't just a subject, it's a skill you develop by using it in real life. So, speak, listen, read, and write as much as you can.
And most importantly, enjoy the process. Every step forward is progress. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small.
Thanks for joining us today on this special episode. We hope it inspires you to keep pushing your English skills higher and higher.
We'll see you in the next episode. Keep learning, keep growing. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast today. We hope you found these tips helpful for your English learning journey.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends who want to learn English too.
And if you have questions or topics you want us to cover, just leave a comment or reach out to us on social media.
Keep practicing every day, and remember, consistency is the key to success.
See you next time on the English Learning Podcast. Take care and keep speaking English confidently.